Hello and welcome to the show. Today we have a very special guest, but before we start the show, let's have a talk with the producer.
Thank you for coming in today. Now, before we start the show, I want to thank the Cable 6 Studios for sponsoring us and providing us with the location of filming. Also, we have another sponsor for today called the Absolute Films Film Studios. They also helped us with the technical side of it, so thank you, and back to you, Leila.
Oh wow, Cindy's here!
Hi, Leila.
Hi.
Oh, thank you for having me.
Sure.
Wow, glad to be here.
So Cindy, when did you decide to get into acting?
Probably about the time I was in elementary school. Maybe, I'm kind of a little on the older side. It's been a long time.
Yeah.
But the Brady Bunch, watching the Brady Bunch and Cindy Brady and all of those kids, and I thought, I'd watch them and go, I can do that.
Wow. Now, can you tell me about some of your current projects that you're working on?
Yes, one of the projects I'm working on has been a labor of love for my family. My husband, Scott Trost, and a partner of ours, Matthew Stevens, we got together to produce a film called 12.
Wow.
And it is 12 short films that start in January and end in December. And it's themed based on the different months, like February's Valentine's Day, and there's St. Patrick's Day in March, and an April Fool's thing that happens in April. But all of these short films come together to make a feature, and it recently was shown at the Burbank Film Festival, and it won a President's Innovation Award. So we're really proud and excited about that. And the October film in the series of 12 is a horror film that my daughter Noelle stars in, my husband, myself, my son Hunter Trost, and so it's a little bit of a labor of love for the whole family.
Where did the inspiration for this film come from?
Last year we were at a film festival called the Playhouse West Film Festival, and I'm a teacher there, and my husband's a teacher there as well. In fact, that's where we met 18 years ago, and fell in love and got married. But every year they do a film festival, and we were watching the films, and he got inspired and said, I'd really like to work with some of these young filmmakers from Playhouse West. They're doing really incredible work. Their short films were amazing. I had been in one called Bottom that Matthew Stevens had produced, and that's how he and Scott got to talking. And because Scott and I have a production company together, the three of us all came together and come up with the idea.
Wow. What's it like to work 3 jobs as an actress, a director, and a producer?
It's a lot of fun. I really enjoy being in front of the camera, but you use different skills. In front of the camera, it's very free and loose, and you can throw yourself into it, kind of lose yourself, and sometimes you don't even have to think about what you're doing. It just starts to come naturally. And behind the camera, it's a little bit more logical. It is creative, but you have to be more organized. If you're a director, you have to set up your shots, and you need to know what you're shooting, and you need to be a little more technical in terms of lighting. And with being a producer, you're juggling schedules and money and finding locations. And so each job is a little bit different, but they all have elements that are just really exciting. So.
Tell me about the production company that you're involved in.
Well, my husband and I, when we first got married, my maiden name is Rucker and his name is Trost, and so we got our names together, and it's called Rucker Trost Productions. And anything that we do that under our banner because we just like having our whole family involved and doing small projects.
Now, I read that you and your family are involved in the play. So what's it like to have your entire family involved in it?
Yeah, we do a play every quarter at Playhouse West, as I said, where we teach, and it's called Welcome Home Soldier, and it's about the Vietnam veterans' experiences when they came back from the war. And it's an amazing project. It's attended by veterans not just from the Vietnam War anymore, but from Afghanistan and the Persian Gulf and Iraq. And just, it's amazing because they come and they sit in the audience, and we thank them for the job that they do to protect our country and pay tribute to them. And it's just a wonderful experience to have my whole family be a part of that and to be on stage with them, to do something creative and to act, but also to do a public service, to really give back to the community.
What's it like when you're in the play and during the production?
Amazing, because I actually play several different characters in the play. And so, we start out in this one scene where it's very fiery and passionate, and people are enraged, and so there's a lot of anger that's getting expressed. And then we move into another scene where our family, Scott and Hunter and Noel and myself, our family at the Vietnam Veteran Wall, and we are talking to my son who has died, their brother, and so it's very emotional, it's very heartfelt and sad. And then we move into a scene later on where it's a country scene, and it's a celebration for people who came back and they had fun. So it's a roller coaster. We kind of start in one place and it's very deep and dark, and then it moves to this place where it's a lot of fun. It could be a little scary and intimidating sometimes, but we've been doing it a long time.
Wow, I mean, that's impressive, what you've done so far and, you know, where you have come from. But what I would really like to know is, acting is a job that makes a lot of money, and you would probably have so much money. Were you?
No, actually, I do act,
Yeah.
but I teach mostly now,
Yeah.
and I started a very long time ago. I did commercials. I worked in local television in San Antonio. I was a radio personality. I did traffic. I came out here to Los Angeles a long time ago to start studying at Playhouse West, and then I got married, and I took a very long break raising my children, and I've come back to it. And so my goals are a little bit different than someone who might be coming to it at 18 and 19 years old. I really enjoy teaching. I love doing very small projects with the students that I'm working with, and other independent filmmakers as they come to me. But my goals and aspirations are a little bit different today than they were when I was 18 years old. And so, no, don't make a lot of money. A lot of projects I do are for free or on a shoestring budget, but it is it's a very glorious and wonderful hobby that I get to do now.
Tell me about some of the commercials. Were you uncomfortable during some of them?
No, actually, one of the more interesting commercials I did when I was about 20-something years old, I did a commercial for Denny's, the restaurant, and a friend of mine and I auditioned, and we ended up getting cast together. And we lived in San Antonio, and the commercial casting was in Houston. We drove down together, and they ended up picking both of us. We were best friends, and she had red hair, and I had blonde hair. And they decided they wanted my hair red as well. But I didn't know that until the day we started shooting. So I showed up on the set, and they're like, oh, by the way, we're going to take you and dye your hair red. And I was like, what? And so they did. They took me in the back and put hair coloring on and dyed my hair red. And so I was a redhead for about a week.
Is the food in the commercials different from the actual food that they serve?
You know, we didn't eat any Denny's food on the commercial. It was a commercial because Denny's was sort of changing the way that they looked. They were changing the interior of their restaurant. They were changing their logo. And they had these two older ladies who were their spokespeople. And when they were talking about the changeover, they had this camera move where the old ladies suddenly became young, and they were my friend and I. And so it wasn't so much about the food as it was a piece about the changeover in the Denny's style.
All right, I want to get back to the production and the movie. So what I want to know is, when you're on set, do you ever feel stressed out?
Oh, yeah. I was the second assistant director and first assistant director on a film called Bikini Summer 3. Very interesting little movie. And we had been shooting, and there was a prop person who left the project and took with them a camera that had been used in several previous scenes. And we were shooting a scene and suddenly realized that the camera was gone. And my husband remembers me on the walkie-talkie going, "Get that camera!" So yeah, it was a little unnerving because we had people standing around, and it was money, and it was time, and it was hot. It was in Miami, and we were all getting sunburned. It's like, behind the camera. Yeah. And my husband's running. He's like, I'm coming.
Oh my gosh.
It's a funny story all these years later.
Well, I'm sure it is. What happens when you mess up on set?
You know, in live television, you just have to pick up and keep going on. You sort of just pull yourself together and move forward. But generally, if it's a taped project, they'll stop and you can go back again. You really want to try and be as professional as possible when you're acting, because other people have come prepared, and you know, it's a lot of money to rent a studio and have cameras and people around, and they're waiting to work. So you want to try and do as good a job you can. But sometimes two things are done 2 or 3 different times, not just because the actor made a mistake, but the director wants to see something different. So it might be done multiple times for the director to see it done different ways.
Wow, that's really interesting. Okay, so when you're on set during a movie or something, how do you stay focused?
I studied an acting technique called the Meisner technique. It was put together by Stanford.